welcome to our Tree of Life Community March meeting. I'm happy to see everyone here today. And uh, let's start with our agenda, a little preview of what we'll cover today. We have Margaret Fisher from Plant Nova Natives, who is going to be talking more about our Audubon at Home assessments and what they mean for faith communities. Right now, we have the challenge to get 10 faith communities to promise to do an Audubon at Home assessment at their faith communities. You don't have to have it done, but just to sign up for one, reach out to Margaret Fisher. She'll have all of the information about how to do that. Margaret, do you have any idea how many we have? Are we close to the 10?
I'm sorry, I should have asked, but I don't know.
No. Well, I want to be able to, announce it in our newsletter that we've reached our goals. So I think we can do it. I know we already have a few that have signed up. Next, we're going to go to our Earth Day. Earth Day is coming up, and here at FACS, we have a Everyone Earth Day photo contest that we started last year. It was Jo, who was a board member. It was her idea, and we're making this an annual event. And that Earth Day photo contest is where faith communities can send in pictures of their activities during the month of April. If your Earth Day activity happens to be like the first week of May, we can of course make an exception. And if you could send us your pictures, and we'll pick 3 winners, and those 3 winners will get gift certificates to Earth Sangha, which is a native plant nursery. And so today we have a few members. We have David, who is from, I have it written down. David, you're not Fairfax Presbyterian. You're
I'm at Providence Presbyterian Church.
Providence Presbyterian. I'm sorry. Fairfax
Okay.
Presbyterian
That's
was
okay.
another.
You're juggling there, Christine. You're doing great.
So I'm really grateful that David is here. We may have someone else come from Our Lady Queen of Peace Catholic Church. And I also have a few pictures to share with you all so that we can have ideas about what we can do at our own faith communities to celebrate Earth Day. And then we have a new funding opportunity that we'll share with you all. And then we'll have a little survey. We may not have time for it at the end, but I'll add it to the email that we send out after this. And the survey is going to be what we want from the Tree of Life community meetings. In my opinion, I'd love to start having some field trips and going out to faith communities who are doing different things, like Temple Rodef Shalom out in McLean. They have done a lot of work on their grounds. They've done a lot of invasive vine removal with tree stewards and tree rescuers. And it would be great if we wanted to have a field trip out that way. So I'll send a survey out, and you all can tell me what you'd like from this group. And with that, I'm going to kick it to Margaret Fisher, who's going to talk more about the Audubon at Home assessments for faith communities. She just had a training session over the weekend. So the Audubon at Home ambassadors are ready to go and come out to your faith communities to give you a free assessment of your grounds. So Margaret, do you need me to make you a host so you can share any slides that you have?
No, I don't know. Thank you.
Okay.
Let me just start by saying that there are some things that apply to people in each county, and there's some things that only apply to in Fairfax County. So what applies to every county is the long-term hope, I could say goal, but hope at least, that within the next 10 years or so, all faith communities in Northern Virginia will have eliminated the tree killing invasives on their property and got a good plan of action for the rest of the invasives. They'll be adding native trees to their property and be reducing lawn area. So those are the 3 goals that we think that worked out as being high priority for faith communities in particular. And by I'm talking about a partnership of Audubon at Home, Plant Nova Natives / Plant Nova Trees, which is the same organization, and FACT. And then another thing that in the nearer term that's available people everywhere, is that we have declared the last weekend in October to be Bird Sanctuary Planting Weekend. And we're inviting everybody across the region, whether they're community or somebody else, anybody else, to plant a bird sanctuary all at the same time, and we'll make a big, hoopla. Yay! We are, after all, a social marketing organization. And what's a bird sanctuary? We're defining a bird sanctuary as having a canopy tree and the lower levels as well, not just plant a tree. So the point is that it is wonderful to plant trees in any way you can. But if you really actually want to help the birds or habitat, you need more than just a tree stuck in a lawn. That doesn't do it. You need to have the lower level plants, and you need to have what people have come to call the soft landing. They can't just be falling on the caterpillar trees, can't just be falling on the grass and overwintering in the turf or being tripped by the lawnmowers. There has to be real dirt and leaves at the bottom to make habitat. So that's our pitch to the whole world, but specifically to faith communities in Fairfax County. We are offering tailored visits by volunteers to assess the property, talk to you about what your goals are for your property, which may include other things besides the things I mentioned, and give advice. So, for example, I did our first visit, which I mentioned at our meeting on Sunday. So sorry for people who were there. Did our first visit to Alexandria Friends meeting. Their volunteer there basically wanted some help figuring out how to make a pollinator garden. But that wasn't what I we talked about the pollinator garden because that was important to them. But then we walked the property. There are 3 acres of property, which includes more than 2 of woods, and discovered problems that they had no idea they had, which basically amount to the fact that over time they'll lose all their trees if they don't do something about the invasive problem. So I think it was extremely positive. I was able to point them to the information they would need to control the problem. I have every reason to believe that they will do so now, just by simply having had one visit. So, of course, if they have other questions, they're to get back in touch with me. It can be an ongoing relationship to the extent that it's helpful. The volunteers are not just Audubon at Home ambassadors. They include a lot of other people who have expertise, particularly in identification of invasive plants. To sweeten the deal, we also offering, again, to Fairfax faith communities, any of those who have had a site like that will be candidates for a free mini bird sanctuary, which will consist of us delivering to them a tree, which will be in the 5-7 feet tall range. 2 shrubs, which will be tiny shrubs because we're getting them for free. They'll be native. You choose, have a couple choices about which ones, and the bags of mulch that they'll need. So we'll deliver that ahead of time. And then all on the weekend, their job is to do some kind of event to celebrate the planting and have their volunteers cut up the turf, plant the trees and water the trees, put down the mulch. So it'll be pretty much first come, first serve. It's just we want the site to happen first, discuss the location, and everybody needs our help with that. But we're going on the assumption that most people are not gardeners. We don't expect them to be gardeners. We're just trying to make it really easy for people. So that's the program. I'm happy to questions if anyone has any.
If you have a question, please just feel free to take yourself off mute and ask away.
David?
Christine?
Yeah.
Hey,
Christine,
hey,
I'd like to
Margaret.
ask Margaret a question. Margaret, could you put that down in like an FAQ? The transmission of your signal was a little stilted. I had trouble picking up some of the words.
Oh, I'm
so if
so
you could
sorry.
put-
Well, we have
yes.
a website and it's in the chat and it explains all of this.
Yeah, I
And
mean, just a quick FAQ sheet that says just what you said, but in, like 3 or 4 bullet points or 5 or 6 or whatever you have. I was losing some of the words there, but I don't know if others had that problem as well.
Yes.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay.
yeah,
I'm gonna put this in.
we'll put it in the follow-up email as well, all the information and
Thanks, Christine.
where you need to go to request the site visit for your faith community. I think someone else had a question.
I
Hey.
do as well. This is Sue Clark. I'm with Peace Lutheran Church, and we have signed up and we'll have our visitor from Audubon volunteer this coming Wednesday. So one thing that I heard Margaret say, and I wanted to ask, maybe I didn't hear it correctly, was, are we to have our goals established before the visitor come? That's not going to happen for us.
No, not at all.
Okay.
No way. These are aspirational. We're trying to talk communities into it. I should have mentioned that thing that when we go, that people will, whoever is doing the inviting will invite anybody else who might be interested to come and walk the property with us. And we really hope that could include people in decision-making positions, the faith leader, the head of grounds, whoever would, can be convinced. So that it, because we've done on at home visits over the years where someone goes and the whole thing, that's just the end of it. Nothing happens after that. I like to avoid that.
Well, I'm the person who's the volunteer for the grounds, and we have at least 3 people that are going to walk with us that are interested in following up. So I'm quite excited about it, and thank you.
Thank you.
That's fantastic. Any other questions? If you have other questions, I think, Kara, do you have a question?
I do. And Margaret, it's good to see you. I know I owe you an email. So, but I just have a question. As you know, I'm very excited about this opportunity. Well, actually, 2 questions. The first is, as the volunteers do the site assessment, are the volunteers or is Audubon and Homer Plant No Natives doing also the site plan to help the house of worship actually, like, once you, or maybe it's part of the assessment, but like basically do a plan that's sort of a sketch out of where things would go, and who is responsible for site preparation, like calling 811 and that sort of thing, and making sure there's tools, and who kind of has those various responsibilities.
Okay, so at the site visit, you're talking about the free bird sanctuary. At the site visit, would figure out where's a good place. The communities will be responsible for calling the utility, and we'll be putting that on the application form to remind them that they have to do that, and need to provide their own shuttles.
Okay, thank you. And then I was just thinking through, because from this group, if folks, I think this would be a great platform, if I might, to just ask folks for advice as to what might be helpful to the volunteers as they go to introduce themselves to these houses of worship. Perhaps they may or may not be known to them, but what is this like? If I'm wondering if folks on this call have some thoughts as faith leaders, what would be helpful to appropriately introduce this program and start this conversation and open these doors? Like, what would be needed for these volunteers? to initiate these conversations.
I think you're asking from a religious point of view, I believe.
Right, because these volunteers, they're with Audubon at home, is that right, Margaret?
Some are, others are not.
So, and they might be reaching out to houses of worship. They maybe in their neighborhoods, but maybe they don't attend worship there, have a relationship with the church or the house of worship. So I'm just like, as faith leaders on this call, what are there things that might help facilitate these conversations? Or approaches or information that you think faith leader would want to know?
I'm not quite clear, Cara, on your question. I mean, are you wanting the volunteer who comes to do an introduction that would excite people to follow through? Or are you talking about within the faith community itself to get people involved so that they would even ask to participate in the program?
Great question, Sue. I was thinking first of the former, but I think they're both important ones. So the first is how can volunteers, you might not have these relationships, sort of what might be a helpful information to include or good approach. And the second, once if there's a house of worship to who wants to participate, what how might they garner interest from within their community? So I was just wondering if folks might have advice.
I don't know if anybody else wants to step in, but I think that this topic of, I'm going to go to the one where we want to encourage members within the faith community to be excited and involved. And that seems like a big question, right? This is the question that a lot of us have, because a lot of these faith communities have, one lead and then maybe a few volunteers if they're lucky in their creation care team or green team. And so hopefully, as this organization, as the Tree of Life campaign grows, we can offer some solutions to that. Some of that is a matter of green team training. And there is this great green team training program, and it's like a 4-part series, and it's specifically for faith communities. They offer it out of Maryland, from a nonprofit in Maryland, but it's free. And if you're in a faith community, you can join, and they like to have at least 3 people from that faith community take this green team training. And it goes through that. How do we engage members? How do we keep them excited about the projects that we're working on? The communication, and I can send that out in the email that follows this meeting. If anybody else has any thoughts, please feel free.
That's super helpful. If I just might, and I probably should have asked this question first. Will the Tree of Life, this group, I guess, will be will be promoting this program, and so what?
Yeah. Well, I will say I didn't want to promote it until I myself do it, and I won't be doing it until June. But it just sounds really great. And if we do it and we think it's a good thing to advertise, we always want to vet before we publicize it to all of you. I think that's our value added, right? We're going to vet these companies. If you're working with our Buildings Up / Power of Faith program, we're not going to recommend something that we haven't done and feel confident in recommending to all of you, our supporters. So I will send that in an email. I will send you this group, but I'm going to make a note that says that we have not done it. They are not fully vetted yet. One of our board members suggested it to us because she knows someone who has done it. And if we go through the program and we feel strongly about it, then we'll promote it even more. And if not, we'll try to find other ways to assist with green teams at faith communities. That is on our radar, very much so.
Okay. So if we got you more details or information or like an FAQ on this, that might be helpful.
Okay, yeah, we'll get it to you. And
Okay,
if
thank you.
Thank you for the question. And if anybody has other questions, please feel free to put them in the chat or email Margaret directly. I don't think she minds. And we're going to head to Earth Day because Earth Day is so close and it's a great opportunity to get members in your faith community involved in an activity. So I'm going to kick this now to David, who is going to talk about Providence Presbyterian Church. And David, do you have any slides at all? Otherwise, I can share
Oh,
my
yes.
screen.
Could
Oh,
you share your screen?
Yep, I'll share my screen and
Well, let me share mine. Okay. Oh,
okay,
thanks. Thanks for putting those pictures up. That's great. That's from last year.
okay, I'm going to make you a co-host
Disabled.
so you can also share your screen if you have anything to share with us.
All right. It says, do I want to continue? Okay, so now I want to go. Oh boy, this is where I always hate this, where I can never find what I'm looking for. Oh well, I had an idea, but it didn't share layouts. Okay. Okay, how do I find it? All right. All right, well, maybe I won't share it. Okay. Jeez. Okay, escape. Escape. Let's see if I can. Yeah, let's see if I can. Just a second. Bluetooth. Yeah, don't you just love technology? Okay, here we go. Let's see. There. No. There. Yeah, there we go. Okay, now I got it. Do you guys see this?
Yes,
Oh, good. Oh, okay. My name
Oh,
is David
you
Kepley,
lost
and
it.
I'm. Pardon me? Yes.
You
No.
lost it.
Ah,
You
you got it
unshared.
now?
Nope,
Yes. No.
no,
No. Do you have this or not?
no.
Oh, jeez.
We had it, then you turned it off.
I think it may have just been the one that I was sharing,
Okay.
which we can go back to.
Do you have it now?
No,
Oh,
Nope.
okay. Let's see. Okay, share screen. Now the Bluetooth doesn't work. Oh boy. Well, okay, I'll just talk to it. Yeah, so much for doing this. Okay. Yeah. All right, I'll speak to it. Okay, Providence Presbyterian Church has a we don't call it Earth Day. We celebrate the Sunday closest to Earth Day by calling it Creation Celebration Sunday. And the reason we do this is because Earth Day is a secular event. It was created about 50 years ago by a Wisconsin senator. And we thought by using the word creation, it has a bit more powerful theological meaning to it. Okay, so every year on Earth Day, we, on Creation Celebration Sunday, we have we present to the congregation the fact that we are a Presbyterian USA Earth Care congregation, which is it's a rigorous environmental audit that we go through every year. We have to do it every year and resubmit, and we've gotten it done for the 11 years now, I think it is. And so we proudly talk about that during worship service, that we are once again an Earth Care congregation. It speaks to the importance of that for our community. And then this year, as part of our greater Creation Celebration Sunday, what we're doing is we're asking people to bring their plastic bags in. You know, that stuff that you drop off at the grocery store. Although they only take clear bags, it's not clear to me whether bags with some color in them count or other kinds of plastic bags. So we're going to take them in and we're going to take them to a contractor and they're going to convert them into something like a park bench. We did something like this with plastic bottle caps, but this year we're going to do it with plastic bags. And we're working with several other churches as well. And we're all collecting plastic bags and we're going to take them to a contractor. And then we're going to have several speakers, one of whom's going to speak a little before Creation Celebration Sunday. We're going to get the CEO of Earth Sangha, Matt Bright, to give us a discussion, which Margaret would love, on native gardens and why that's important and why we should reduce our lawns. So we're going to give that talk to our congregation. And then on the show, on the Creation Celebration Sunday itself, we will just be displaying for about the 11th or 12th time an art show in which we ask members of the congregation take pictures of natural subjects. That could be landscapes or wildlife or flowers or birds or whatever, just nothing that has anything to do with humankind. In other words, no buildings and that sort of thing. And we get them to donate, send those in to our church communications director, and she posts them all online. And if I could show them to you, I would, but obviously I can't right now. And then we print off a bunch of them and we put them on display racks in our commons area. And this gets a tremendous amount of interest. People love it. They love having their own artwork up. Others enjoy seeing them. It was so popular last year that they said, well, can't we just leave this up forever? And I said, well, there's display racks. I don't want people to trip on them. So instead, we were able to establish some rails on the wall leading into the church area proper, in which we were able to hang things such a way that they didn't interfere with the traffic flow. So that worked out just great. And then on the day itself, we're going to do something we did last year. We're asking people to who grow seedlings in their basement or hothouses or whatever to bring them in on Creation Celebration Sunday and donate them. And then we would have the pastor bless the seedlings. And then when the seedlings are blessed, then members of the congregation would be encouraged to pick up a seedling, take it home, and plant it. And the seedling might be a flower or a vegetable or whatever. It doesn't matter. But again, we're trying to encourage people to get involved. And then over the summer, when we have only one service and it's a little easier for people to make presentations, we're going to have a person from the Trace, the zero waste store over in Vienna, come in and show her products. And that would be things like, it looks like a little purse and it's meant to replace Ziploc bags and those kind of bags that you use when you put produce in them at the store. Well, instead, she's going to put, she's got cloth bags that you can use instead, and you can wash them and so forth. And then within the next month or so, we're going to set up a composting center at the church in which all the church's table scraps will go into that bucket, and we will get a contractor to take the bucket to its composting site. We'll start with just the church table scrap waste itself, and then we may ask members of the congregation to bring in their own table scraps from home. The trick here is to make sure that you don't get anything that's not supposed to be in there, or the contractor will charge you extra for pulling that stuff out. And what else? And then our own Rick Gallagher is going to talk to us later this summer about recycling do's and don'ts, because we always seem confused by the county's instructions on this, and Rick is an expert in this, and so I know that he'll do a super job with that. And then finally, that bottle cap project I was telling you about, well, we came up with this idea, why don't we do some bottle cap art? And so I contributed one of my pictures that's got lots of color in it. And then students, the youth, are going to take the bottle caps and try to replicate what I have on my picture. So that's the kind of things we're doing. That's going to be done over the summer. So rather than thinking of Earth Day as a single day, we're thinking of it as almost a season or several months of different activities to try to engage the congregation. And I'm really sorry that you couldn't see the stuff that I was trying to show you, but there you go. The best laid plans don't always work, right? Hey, it sure didn't work just then. Okay. Share screen.
That was great. Thank you, David. Does anyone want to
Got any
ask,
questions out there?
yeah, any questions? That was so great.
David, I would like to get more information about your project with the plastic bags and the contractor who
Sure.
turns them in. You said a bench?
Yeah, yeah, if I could show you the slide, 'cause the thing, it's a park bench kind of thing, and it's made of, plastic. And we had that done with bottle caps, and now we're gonna try it with plastic bags.
That would be amazing. We have a bench out by our garden, but it's so old and it's just really ratty and kind of falling apart, and it would be a great way to replace it.
Well, yeah, it's the ultimate recycling,
Yes.
stuff you don't need. You don't want it in the landfill, so yeah, yeah. Be happy to send that to Christine, and she can send it on to others.
Great.
And I'd be happy to send you the slides to Christine, and you could send them out if they don't have that wonderful dialogue with it, but that's the way it goes, right?
Thank you. Rick has a question.
Yeah, Rick.
Yeah, I'm interested in the composting. So if you can keep an eye on that,
Yeah.
churches have a hard time composting. So you can hire a hauler, but interested in seeing how that goes for you.
Yeah. Yeah, when we said, why don't we put a compost heap in the backyard, with yard scraps in it and stuff, well, then someone has to do something about it, so it's always like a labor problem it becomes, But then when you say put food scraps in it, well, then, then it'll attract raccoons and all kinds of stuff. So we thought if we stick with food scraps and have someone haul it away, maybe that would be less objectionable. So that's the idea. And the hope is that, at one point that we would get members of the congregation to scrape their own table scraps into a bucket and bring it in. Now, what gave me the idea was there are contractors who work at the farmers markets, but that's only open 4 or 5 months a year. And they do exactly that. And that's how I got the idea. I talked to one of those guys and said, hey, would you do that at my church? And he said, sure, for a price. And of course, that's always the answer. And so, I investigated a number of different contractors, 4 of them, and I found the one that I thought would give us the best bang for the buck, the best price. I think it's about $40 a month for a 32-gallon bucket. And it's kind of a bucket like you would use for your trash, only it's got a seal on it. And, you haul it out to the curb or wherever your trash pickup is. And then he just takes the whole barrel. And then he gives you a clean, fresh barrel because it's all gunked up. You put all this slop in there, and then you don't want to squirt it down. That's not much fun. So he takes it away, and then he gives you a clean barrel. Okay, so that's the pattern. And so I thought, county residents can take them out to West Ox Road because there's a composting place there. But then you're trying to make doing the right thing easy for people. So if I made it easy for you to take it to church, because you're going to church anyway, like what the heck, or like when for me, I could take it to the farmer's market, but he's only open 4 or 5 months a year. So I thought this might be an easier way, but we haven't really started it yet. So I don't want to claim absolute success. All I can claim is absolute trying.
Yeah.
So we'll see how it goes. Yeah.
Can I make a comment?
Sure.
I'm at Trinity Presbyterian in Herndon, and we
Yeah.
have.
John Wilson's one of our buddies. Yeah.
Yeah, he's my buddy too. We did start a composting program at our church out by the garden, but we've kept it to like similar to a backyard composting
Yeah.
program where you would only, there's only certain things you would put into it. And so we have the bin built, and we built a Browns bin right next to it and have a pitchfork out there so people can put the Browns into it. And we have it clearly labeled what can go in, what can't. We've done a lot of publicity about it, and as part of our Earth Care Sunday, we also call it, we don't call it that, we call it Creation Care Sunday, like you. We will have a table about it, and actually there's several people in the congregation that are now saving their scraps and bringing them and putting them in the bin. And if I'm calling it a success because it has composted enough that one of the guys that's kind of rejuvenating the raised garden beds is taking compost out of there now and mixing it in with
Wow.
the dirt that he's putting in the raised beds. So,
Wow, that's great.
yeah.
Yeah, the composting contractor we're gonna go with, one of the deals is you get 2 free bags of composted dirt, you know, at the end of the season or whatever. So I thought, okay, great. I'll swap you table scraps for
Well,
dirt. Okay,
I'd-
great.
I'd
I'm
like to
all
know
in.
who that is too, because we're looking at trying to convert over to compostable paper products with the fellowship team. And we're researching companies that could pick up that sort of compost where, you know, you put everything in it.
Uh-huh. Wow.
So yeah, I'd be interested in hearing
Yeah.
about that too.
Okay. I did a write-up for our church our Earth Care Committee. I can send that to you, no problem.
Right.
Yeah.
And I it's such a good topic that is very interesting, and a lot of us want to be composting at our faith communities. That the Facts Tree of Life community will have an entire meeting on it, and we have a few people in our community. And yeah, Joan, I'll reach out to you. David, I'll reach out to you, and you will hopefully be a part of it and give
Sure.
your perspectives on how it goes. But just so everybody, you know, look out for that next one. That won't be the next one, but it'll be sometime in the near future. Okay, any other quick questions? Okay, yeah.
Sorry, I don't know how to raise my hand. I just want to say the fax team met with Dahlia Palchik this morning. She's the Providence supervisor. Apparently they used to have compost collection at Mosaic and they're not doing that right now. It wasn't actually, I think county wasn't doing that. It was maybe through the farmers market or something. But I just wanted to say that we push that issue about the county doing more on composting. And it is on her radar. So just so people know, it's yet another thing. But also, Joan, I'd love to talk to you because Road of Shalom had a whole committee looking at could they do compostable, like when you have an event, can everything be compostable so you can just like wrap it up and throw it in? And I don't know where they are on that, but maybe they'd be interested in connecting with you. I don't know if they are further along on research or not.
Wow.
Yeah, we searched different products. We researched the bags that you would put it in, you know, and different companies that might pick it up and the cost. But yeah, it'd be good to know what other people are thinking about that.
Shoot me your put your email in the chat and I'll send you a note and we can just connect on that.
Okay.
The power of the community. Please, yeah. Margaret, yeah.
Thank you. Our church has been doing the composting, I think, for about a year now. We go to Compost Crew, they give their bags if we want them of the stuff. They'll take everything so that you don't need to sort it. The two downsides is one is the congregation is having a very difficult time understanding the concept of composting. We told them we have compostable plates so you can put those in the compost. So I saw somebody scraping the food scraps into the regular trash and then just composting the plates. Okay, that's not it. And then the other thing is that if you ask the congregation to bring their own table scraps, that's great, except that the cost goes up because you need a bigger bin.
Right.
So it's a question of does the church want to pay for that? But there's a benefit in doing it just to talk about making compost and let people figure it out for themselves. But it works fine. It's a good system.
That's great to hear.
Yeah, well, we figure if we go ahead with the compostable paper goods, you know, for fellowship events, it's going to take a massive amount of signage and and awareness and education.
Yeah.
for sure.
Thank you all so much for contributing to that. It does sound like composting is a topic that we all want to talk more about. So that's really great to know. Always, if you have a topic that you're interested in, please send it my way and we can have a meeting around it. Okay. I'm going to share my screen and let's see. All right, can you all see this? St. Anne's Episcopal Church. Okay, really quickly, is Ray Copson, is he here by any chance? Sometimes Ray hangs out with us. Not today. That's a shame because St. Anne's Episcopal Church in Reston is another faith community that is doing so much. They submitted some pictures for 2023 Earth Day, and they gave me a little blurb of what they did. So I'll just read it very quickly. On Earth Day, St. Anne's Episcopal Church in Reston purchased 72 native plants at the annual Reston Nature Center sale. And Mother Jessica Holthus blessed the plants at service, and they were planted at the St. Anne's Memorial Garden. St. Anne's has a really lovely memorial garden that's kind of tucked away in the woods a bit, and it's safe because landscapers won't mow it over. It's kind of isolated to keep their natives safe. And they're working to remove invasives and they're trying to restore a more natural environment. At St. Anne's, I'll give you another example. This is Our Lady Queen of Peace Catholic Church in Arlington. Is anyone here from Our Lady Queen of Peace? I think I saw Julene. Was she here?
Yes, yes, I'm here.
Hi.
Hi.
Yeah, would you mind sharing with us what you were up to last year?
Sure.
And if you all are doing something for this year.
Yeah, so I was asked to do something for in conjunction with for our faith formation program for our kids, and I put together a booklet. And we had a day where we had an appearance by St. Francis, who was played by a high school senior, and we got together as a group outside and had a brief intro just explaining how creation care is part of our faith. And you know, Pope Francis as part of that, St. Francis as part of that. And then we had 5 stations set up across the campus. One of them was called Wildlife Watch. We have a member of our creation care team who's studying, you know, urban wildlife. So he had all kinds of like furs and things, you know, skeletons for kids to touch. And they actually got to take something home too, which they almost lost their minds with excitement. And then we had another station called Little Garden Volunteers, and you can see on the right, you know, our garden it was April 1st, so we weren't quite ready yet. So we had fake vegetables that they could harvest, and we kind of went through that cycle of the growing season and then harvesting to go to our food pantry. We have a food pantry. And then we had another station that was, you could see on the left, Trees Take Care of Us. And with that one, we collaborated with our Haiti committee. Which we have a agroforestry program with our twin parish in Médor, Haiti, and we hit the milestone of planting 1 million trees as part of that. So the kids got to hear more about that in that station from the Haiti committee. And then we had another station that was creation care games, and it was fun, like, you know, which thing to recycle where, you know, that kind of stuff. But fun, interactive. And then the last station was called Wonderful Water. And that's where you can see in the middle, we actually, I got a rain barrel donated from Arlington County. Akakeek donated some cedar boards we use the boards they got to paint, and then those were put around the rain barrel to make it more of an activity, and they learned about rain barrels. And then we all came back together as a group and quickly debriefed, passed out these booklets and sang Canticle of the Sun together. It was a lot of fun. And the booklets they could take home, there's word searches in them, you know, just ways that kind of highlighted ways that we care for creation at Our Lady Queen of Peace, and challenge them to care for creation at home and in their families too. So It was fun, and I have a little video I can share in the chat. I can see it again. Yep. Thank you.
Thank you so much. That's really excellent stuff. And can you say where did you all get those booklets from?
I made them.
You made
So yeah, it was a labor of love. But actually there's like 23 pages in here. But just fun stuff that they could to take with them and hopefully share with their families too. And just kind of highlight like this is part of our faith. Um, you know. And I used to teach religion, so like kids love word searches. So I made sure I had a few of those in there. First graders
Awesome.
especially. Yep.
Really awesome. Any questions? Again, take yourself off mute. We are not formal here. Please ask away. Okay. We'll go to the last faith community. This is Fairfax Presbyterian Church. They also entered last year. They got a $50 gift certificate from Earth Sangha, and they shared pictures of planting a pizza garden. They planted the garden with seeds from Interfaith Power and Light, and they built a 3-part raised garden bed, filled it with soil and planted the seeds and sprouts. And they said that they would be tending the garden all summer with the families that have signed up to help. And then later, they're going to be having a vegetarian dinner, and they're going to have a big pizza party to celebrate. Okay. Let's see. And does anybody, before we go into the funding opportunity, I just wanted to ask if anybody wanted to share what your faith community is doing this Earth Day, or what your faith communities have done in the past that have been successful and well attended. Please feel free to raise your hand and share with the group.
I don't know if we're doing this year or not, but a year ago we did, and I think the idea came from FACS. We did Creation Care Bingo, and we made up little bingo cards. Does anybody know what I'm talking about? Have you done this? And we gave the cards out, I think it was 2 weeks ahead of time, along with some stickers. And then if they turned out the lights when they left a room, they could get a sticker, or if they turned the water off when they were brushing their teeth, and there were some outdoor things as well. And then at the end of the 2 weeks, we had outdoor stations like was just described, and that was when people told what they did, and we had some activities around on the property. But the bingo part was the highlight.
That's really cool. Thank you for sharing. So anyone else? Got about 9 minutes.
I'll do quickly. I feel like I'm talking too much, but the things we have planned this year are there's several members that have electric vehicles, and we're going to invite people to go out and look at them and talk to people if they're curious about that. We have a couple ladies who did the training with Nova New Leaf for removing invasives, so we'll have a table for that. We'll have a table for the composting. And then John Wilson found out about these thermal cameras that you can rent for free from the Loudoun and Fairfax County libraries. They attach to your iPhone, has to be at least a 16 version. And you can take pictures, and it shows where there's leaks in your windows, or around different doors and things like that. And we'll have some kid activities too. So
Thank you for sharing. I actually have one of those cameras right now, and I have been going around with Eric Goplerud, and we have been taking pictures of faith communities in the area. We've taken a picture of your faith community, and you don't know it, but we have it so that we can show you all, like, where the air is leaving your building, and around windows. It does a great job, windows and doors, and there's bricks, and it's pretty cool. And you just, yeah, you just rent them from the library, you get it for 2 weeks, and it's pretty interesting stuff. Okay, funding opportunity. Anybody else want to share with the group?
I just
Okay,
wanna
well,
say
I'll,
we're having an Earth
Yeah.
Day event, and people are welcome. It's Church of the Holy Comforter in Vienna. Yeah. I won't say
thank
more.
you. No, okay. And you can share that with me, and I can always put it in the email that goes out.
Oh, thank
Thank you so much. And I have a few minutes. I just want to pitch. Rick has this fantastic presentation about trash and recycling. I think that David mentioned, and I think that, is Rick still here? He is okay. Yeah, so he can correct me if I'm wrong, but he is willing to go to faith communities and give this presentation. It is awesome. He has hundreds of pieces of trash and recycling, and he explains what can be recycled, what can't be, if something can't be recycled or is difficult to be recycled, like tiny pieces of metal, the right way to, put that in a big container and just like collect them and then recycle the whole container. And please, Rick, if I'm saying something wrong, but if you want to send me an email, send him an email. He can come to your faith community, and that can be your Earth Day activity.
Well,
Okay, he's not shaking his
okay.
head, so I think, yeah.
What I have done is I have visited the MRFs. I have sat there in their conference rooms. We have pulled out 100 different items, and we said, do you recycle this? What about this? And we have that as a display. So the things that they want, the things that they commonly get that they don't want. And then in the middle, things that you can recycle, but you cannot do it curbside. So that
No,
has,
underselling it. It's so good. I learned, Suze, who is a FACTS volunteer, I learned so much from it, because things change. What we think couldn't be recycled can be now. And what, we thought, could be, can't be. And, like our milk containers, if it's just waxed paper, then it's melted down, and we can recycle that, right? We can, that's okay to put in the recycling bin. So lots of little facts like that.
yeah, there is no wax anymore. It all went to plastic. You're showing your age.
Plastic. I know. Yeah, I am. Okay, I am gonna go to the I kind of misnamed it. It's not necessarily a funding opportunity, but it's discounted native plants and trees. And so this is from the I'm gonna actually just share this with you all in the chat. And again, I will put this in the email that goes out. But this is from the Department of Forestry through Virginia, and it's called the Throwing Shade Virginia program. Some of you may have heard about it. It started March 1st and it goes through May 1st. And you can go to a participating nursery, which is on that page that I just put in the chat, and eligible trees and shrubs will have a little sticker or something that says like Throwing Shade Virginia, and you can receive a $25 discount on eligible trees valued at $50 or more. And I don't know if anybody has tried this yet. I haven't been to the nursery yet this year. If you've tried it, please feel free to raise your hand and tell us if it worked or not. I will, David. I'll send you all a copy of the chat, definitely. There's Burke Nursery is the nursery that's closest to me, and so I'm going to be checking that out and to see if it's true, and they're standing by this promise. And yeah, I'll let y'all know. Anybody have anything else that they'd like to share or ask a question about? If not, I'm going to pitch the Audubon at Home assessments for faith communities. with Margaret. I'll send the information out, and we're really trying to get 10 faith communities to get their assessments. And just like she said, if you get your assessment done, then that qualifies you to to receive the bird sanctuary, the 1 canopy tree and 2 native shrubs, right? I think so. Yeah. So get your assessments done so that when that opportunity comes out, you'll be eligible for that. I'm also going to push the Power of Faith Buildings Up program that FACS has. In our March 1st newsletter, we announced the mini grant, and that is funding to get an energy audit, and it's a matching grant. But I've been told that maybe if you don't have matching funds, that maybe we'll work with you. And please look at that information, look at our newsletter and check that out. The Fairfax County also has a funding for energy audits. And so you can stack all this funding to help with cost. But if I think that's it, we're at 3:59, and thank you all so much for coming. Please be on the lookout for a follow-up email, and it'll have all the information that we discussed today.
quick
And I'll
question.
also include a link to the recorded video.
Christine, if we want to participate in the Audubon at Home program, should we connect with you or Margaret directly?
You can connect with Margaret directly.
Okay.
Yeah, but there's just a little sign up thing on the website.
Which website?
I'll send it again right now.
Okay. Thanks, Margaret.
Sure.
Look forward to working with you again on it.
Yay.
And please also know that the Fax Tree of Life campaign has connected with other organizations like the Fairfax Tree Stewards. So if you have an Audubon at Home assessment and there are some trees that are in danger and there's invasives that are threatening them, we can put you in touch with other organizations that can help reach these goals. So no need to be afraid when you get the news that Margaret gave to the Friends group that they have a number of mature trees that are in danger, because there are organizations that can help with that.
Excellent.
Yeah, I mean, you have to
Okay, thank
pay
you
them.
all.
Let's get this clear. They don't do it for free. But, we can help show volunteers how to do it if you want to do it yourself.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you all so much. And again, we meet the 3rd Thursday of every month. And I'll be sending out a survey of what we want to see in this community to really make it our own and to get the most value out of it. So thank you all so much for contributing and joining, and to our speakers, thank you so much. Have a great day.
Thank
Thank you,
you.
Christine.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.